Imagine this. 97% of people have interacted in the US either with GPT-4 or Chat GPT, directly or indirectly. And now, how many of you have leveraged this groundbreaking technology for algorithmic trading? Welcome to our fascinating journey into the world of AI. Over the past 2 months, I've delved deep into research on GPT-4, large language models, and the AI revolution. I've scoured Medium, Google Scholars, YouTube's books to unearth insight. And it was on Medium where I found some truly exceptional articles offering not only a rare and valuable perspective, but knowledge from industry experts with more than 10 years experience as algorithmic trader. Today, in this video, we are not only going to share with you this expert profound insight, but also unveil real-life application of GPT-4 LLM and algorithmic trading using Python. Stay tuned as we dive into this cutting-edge exploration. So today I want to introduce you to Hanane. Nice to meet you, and thank you for coming here today and talking about LLM and your view about like the implication of LLM in finance, because we know that lately it's like very trendy topic. So nice to meet you, and can you introduce yourself in a few words?
Okay, thank you for having me with you. So I'm Hanene D. I'm an algorithmic trader working in financial investments banking in France, and I have been working on the financial field for more than 13 years almost. And I'm really passionate about AI, about LLMs, about all what is happening from last year until now. So thank you for having me, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk about the LLMs in finance.
Yes, thank you, Hanan. And also today is a Women's Day, it's like Women International Day. And can you tell me more about your path in order to reach this type of level today and this type of mission that you have in your day-to-day job? Can you just enlighten us a little bit more about your background and how did you end up working as an algorithmic trader for a French bank?
So first of all, I did my all my studies in France. I was in engineering school, and then I was in business school. I did the technical finance master degree because I wanted to work in finance. And starting from that, I was working in different institutions, and I was really very curious because I love learning. I've spent a lot of time learning a lot of things. When I was working, I want to be able to learn a lot about finance. That's why I have spent time to prepare CFA, the certificate, the Charter Analyst certificate. I did level 1 and level 2. It was really interesting to learn a lot of things about the finance field. And then after that, it was the time when everybody was talking about data science, and I love this. I love this field, so I started also learning by myself data science in my for my private time. It was really interesting, and then I wanted to be able to put in place projects that are very robust. That's why I also did a certificate in data science in a French engineering school that is well known. It was very interesting. This is give me the opportunity to work in data science team. I also had my proper team. I was managing a small team about data science and business intelligence. And I also was curious about how to put in place APIs, for example. That's why I did a bootcamp in web dev to put in place websites, APIs for my work. It was also on my personal time. I have two children. They were very young when I did my bootcamp on web dev. So it was a really sacrifice to put in to follow this path. But it was really interesting, and I didn't regret until now. After that, I just wanted to learn about algorithmic trading. So I started to learn by myself too. Every time I start by myself, and then I meet people, or I follow some uh, trainings in the internet or in engineering schools. So this is the whole story of about my path in finance. Just curiosity, learning all the time, pushing the boundaries farther and farther every time, even if it was on my personal time.
Okay, it's very funny because you are talking about like API is also the way how I start getting into this field, because before that I did like bachelor in mathematics and a master degree in mathematics with a focus in civil engineering, but I had like a pure mathematical background, and I start in data science by analyzing the API because I had like a task, and it's how I started like in this field, which is very, very funny. And just as a quick
Mm.
question before to dig into the LLM field, most of people in the audience would like to become algorithmic trader. Would you have some tips to give them? And you have like, because you talked about like self-learning, learning during your free time, being passionate. Like, what would be the top three tips you can give to someone who want to become algorithmic trader, for instance?
The first one is to read a lot about algorithmic trading. I can give you a name of a book
Okay.
that people can read about it to understand what is algorithmic trading, and algorithmic trading is a really big field. You can
Mm.
find a lot of typologies on algorithmic trader. But with this one, people can at least have some concepts and some explanation, description about the algorithms that we can use in trading. For example, the ones that we use to seek for liquidity, the one that we use just to execute during the day, following the VWAP or TWAP curves, and so on. So there are lots of things to understand. I will give you the link if or the name of the book.
Yeah,
It's a
definitely.
really good starter.
Definitely, definitely. I would love to share it, and I'm also very keen to know more about it. And just before to start, like maybe I'm going to introduce to the audience today what can be interesting. Maybe is to start like digging into the field and having like a first experience on how to use LLM in finance. As like I believe you prepared some content in order to show how to create like a advisor using LLM. Just can you just start by just introducing of what is the concept of LLM, and after if we can dig into how can LLM improve the accuracy and performance of a trading algorithm, for instance.
So the LLMs stands for large language models. So they are language that are based on neural networks architectures, and especially the transformers. So they are deep networks. They are very deep networks. We call them large because they are using a huge amount of data sets to be
Okay.
trained on. And we call them also large because they are using lots of parameters. If you
Mm.
can remember, some of them are using billions and billions of parameters to be put in place. So this is the large language models. So they are capable of understanding human language, and also answering with human language, which is a really interesting part, because until the LLMs, we were not able to generate human text like, and we were not able to generate a lot of contents of human-like text. This is the LLMs. And the LLMs can be trained on a lot of information, a lot of data sets. They can be trained on text, they can be trained on images, they can be trained on a lot of things. The usage of LLMs is very vast, is very huge. For trading is not well used because it's not capable of, for example, predicting stock prices or for generating correct prices. Just if you use the LLMs by themselves, okay?
Okay.
But they have a huge potential for the coming months and years, and you can use them. Even you can use them currently to be able, for example, to detect sentiment analysis in finance, to
Okay.
detect some trends in media, in social media, for example, in tweets and so on. You
Okay.
can also use them to uh, to describe, explain, extract some key points from news, financial news. And this is the key usage of LLMs right now.
Okay, it's very interesting because I don't know if I mentioned to you before, but one of my best friends, James, I met him very often and like all the time we meet, he told me, okay, you should use LLM because I'm from the old school. I'm much more like using like machine learning and AI and like this kind of like old school mathematics. But each time he tell me, okay, transformer are very powerful. You should really use them. And from what I heard, he's working with a hedge fund in New York right now. And from what I heard, this hedge fund is widely using transformers, but for analyzing tweets and sentiment of the market regarding a stock, regarding like a decision into like a macro level, like much more regarding what is going to happen, like into like a macro level regarding a specific investment. Maybe can you show us like can you share with the audience like step by step like use case of using LLM for finance?
Yeah, I want to tell you about the old
Mhm.
school and new school. I was
Yeah.
like you last year, at the beginning of the last year when
Okay.
we were hearing about Chat GPT and so on. I was really skeptical about this, and but I want to give it a try. So I create my account and I start by asking questions about technical indicators and
Mm.
algorithmic trading. So the first question is, what are the different typologies of algorithmic trading? And it starts explaining different typologies and so on. And it was really very interesting because if I had ChatGPT 6 years ago or 7 years ago, I will force my knowledge about algorithmic trading very, very quickly. So it was really interesting. So for people, you asked me just before how to learn about algorithmic trading, start with ChatGPT. You have the book. It's very interesting. It's the basic knowledge that everyone has to know about algorithmic trading, but open ChatGPT and start chatting with it and start learning from it. So for someone don't who doesn't know about algorithmic trading, it's a really good start. For someone who has some knowledge, you can for example see some issues on the answers of LLMs, but it's not a big deal. It's really interesting to start with this. So the usage of LLM in finance are huge. We have some models in LLMs that are multimodal. Multimodal meaning that you can give it a text, you can give it an image, you can give it a video, you can give it different type of inputs, and it will understand you are giving, and it will understand that he has to, for example, summarize or extract key points from it. So, for example, GPT-4 Turbo is multimodal. Gemini Pro is multimodal, for example. So the different use case that you can use for LLMs are huge. You can use the text, you can use the vision, and you can use the audio, you can use the video. Perhaps I will just share with you one of the notebooks that I put in place
Yes,
for the LLMs.
go ahead. Yeah, I took a look at it, like, but if you can go and explain it, it would be amazing for the audience. So yes, go ahead. I I've been leading a hedge fund for the last 2 years, and even my team still today are using this old school method of like using like big algorithm like based on machine learning, rather than
Uh,
like using Chat GPT, but like not GPT, but using LLM. So okay, so go ahead, but like yeah, it's very funny.
yeah. For example, this is just a simple notebook to show how you can use this. I'm using the APIs. This is for more technical people. So you use the libraries. For example, here I'm using the API library of OpenAI. To be able to use this library, you need to create an API key before. Okay. And once you have your API key, you can start chatting with the LLM. For example, here I give to the LLM a text in which I put the Morgan Stanley outlook, macro outlook for 2024. So they are talking about inflation. They are talking about what will be the forecast for Eurozone. They are talking about a lot of things. Okay? You are seeing my
Okay.
screen,
Yeah, I can see
the
your screen.
notebook?
Like
Yeah.
I was also reading at the same time. So okay,
Okay, cool.
interesting.
Okay, so for this, I give it a text, file text, and I also call the chat completion method from OpenAI. And for this method, I give it the model, I specify the model GPT 3.5 Turbo to use. And I give it a prompt. So my prompt is summarize the following financial reports. So this is for summarization. This is the first case you can use for LLM in finance. And when I give it the text, the content of the text, the prompts, it gives me the summary. So he told me that the text is talking about Morgan Stanley, macroeconomy 2024, the government bond yields, the currencies, the credit markets, the housing markets. It gives me everything he find in the file with the summary and even with key points because it didn't give a summary in the paragraph, but it was more in key points to know. This is very
Just
interesting. If you want to go faster in reading some financial information, you can use LLMs like this. Okay.
just quick question. Can we see
Huh?
how how the files look like just before
Yeah,
before
yeah. I
like
need to just to go in another part.
but that's so interesting that in few seconds like it can take the most important information from the file and
Exact. Yeah,
that after maybe we can tokenize it and yeah, it's super interesting.
exactly. So everything is done. Even the tokenization is done in OpenAI. You don't need to do anything from this point of view because it's a really simple thing to do. Here is it the outlook, the macro economy outlook 2024, and here is the text. You just simple text. Okay.
It's very interesting. Okay.
You can also give it a PDF if you
Mm,
want. You can give it different type of files. I will explain a little bit after how to use this part.
okay.
So once you have this, you give it the text, the content. It gives back the summary. So you can use the summary for you or to send to clients or to use in your, for example, prediction model if you want. Okay. You can extract key points from it and then use them as features for your model. Here, I used the sentiment analysis use case. For example, I asked the library Yahoo Finance to get some news articles about Apple.
Okay.
Okay, I
Wait,
guess
just
yeah, sorry.
that means here is it's another use case or is it like
Yeah,
related
this is
to
another yeah, so yeah,
yes
this is
here
another use case. The first
here
one,
okay. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
The first one was about summarizing information from the LLM, using the
Okay.
LLM from a file. Okay.
Okay.
And this one is about sentiment analysis. I will give it a news article, and I will ask LLM what is the sentiment analysis included in this news article. And it will tell me if it's negative, if it's positive, if it's neutral,
Wow.
because
Okay.
they are already trained on this kind of information.
Okay. That means like from Yahoo Finance, like just using some stocks, we can get from the headlines of the news, we can get like like a overall sentiment of how the market is, of the view of the market regarding a stock, like if that's positive or negative.
Yeah, I give it even the content of
Wow. Okay.
the URL. Yeah, I did some scrapping, web scrapping in the from the. I give it a stock
Mm.
identifier. I
Okay.
get the news, the top news from it, and I will here. I just choose one of the news. I
Okay.
scrap it to get the contents from the website using
Okay.
Beautiful Soup, for example. And once I get the contents, I give the content to the LLM, to GPT 3.5 Turbo.
Mm.
And the prompts I use is analyze the sentiment of the following text. So he
Okay.
will give me the sentiment, okay? This is the answer from the LLM. The sentiment of the text is predominantly negative. And what is
Wow.
interesting is here it's giving the arguments
Wow.
why the sentiment is negative. It highlights the discontinuation of out-of-warranty replacements of Apple Watch models and the pause in sales of Series 9, na, 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 na. So he reads the information. It reads the information from the content I give it. It extracts the sentiment, and it gives me even the arguments why it's negative.
Wow, it's so interesting. Actually, like I'm from, like, let's say, yeah, there's like 2 years of working on trading, and like this one is like I'm start getting converted to to this one.
To LLM.
Wow. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
Yeah.
it's 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 so it's very very interesting actually. Okay.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
really interesting. And let me show you the last use case I put in this notebook. It will be even more interesting.
And
I
just
give
like
it an image.
okay, it
Sorry?
just as a question, like it's like kind of like transversal question, but what is difference between GPT, like I kind of know the difference, like in terms of computation power and in terms of like amount of data used, but like, do you see a big difference between GPT 3.5 and GPT 4? Is it like the difference? Is it like very big?
Yeah, yeah, there is little difference. For the GPT 3.5 Turbo,
Yes.
is less accurate and is less good than the GPT 4 Turbo,
Okay.
for example. The
Okay.
GPT 4 is more verbose. It
Yeah.
gives more accurate information,
Okay.
and it's well done. The type of answers that you get from GPT 4 are better than the GPT 3.5. And there is also another difference is about the cutoff knowledge. For example,
Okay.
GPT 3.5 Turbo, it cannot answer questions about information or what happens in the world after January 2022
Okay.
and even at the end of 2021.
Okay.
But GPT-4 is trained on data sets and on information until March 2023.
Okay. Okay.
For
Okay.
example, if you ask the question who won the World Cup 2022 in Qatar,
Yeah.
GPT-3.5 it will answer I don't know because
Hmm.
it's not in my cutoff knowledge.
Okay.
But the GPT-4 it will answer the question.
Okay, okay, perfect. Just a question, maybe it's not very accurate, but like, why in the previous example we didn't use GPT? Why did we use GPT 3.5 and not
You
GPT
can
4? Oh, we can.
You can use it. Yeah,
Okay,
there is just a matter of cost.
okay,
If you use
okay.
GPT-4 is more expensive
Expensive.
than the
Okay,
GPT-3.5.
okay,
But at
okay.
this stage, because I'm just
Yeah,
using one content to one small text, it doesn't
yeah.
matter. It's really not
Okay.
not that expensive.
Okay. Okay.
If you
Right.
if you're going to use and to use it in production, send in lots of contents, lot of documents, yeah,
Yeah.
then you need to have a look on the cost
Okay. Okay.
that you will
Okay.
pay.
Interesting. Okay. Okay. Good. 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 This other application of GPT-4 using real market data. Okay.
Exact. This one I will be using an image. Here, this is an image of graph that I take it from Yahoo Finance at the moment when I was studying the subject. It's far away from the price of Bitcoin now, but this is just an example. Okay. I give this graph to GPT-4 Turbo because GPT 3.5 is just it's a text only LLM. You can't give it an image. But GPT-4 Turbo, which is multimodal LLM, you can give
Mm.
it text, you can give it an image, you can give it audio, and so on. Okay?
Mm.
No, just image and text. Audio is another LLM, also developed by OpenAI, which is called TTS. Well, this is another subject.
Okay. So
So
okay.
this one,
Just to make a recap, that means like today with LLM, we can even analyze, let's say, a discussion or like a TV news, for instance, and
exact,
take from it some information. Okay. Wow,
exact.
it's
For
like
example,
interesting.
the YouTube video that you are recording just right now,
Yeah.
I can give it to an LLM, and it will extract from it the key points if I ask for key points. Okay.
Wow. Okay, interesting. Wow,
So you
it's
don't need even to listen to the whole video. You just need to LLM to extract the summary if you
okay.
want.
Okay, okay, interesting. Wow, okay. Okay, okay, you can pursue. Sorry, I stopped you, but
So I give the GPT-4 Turbo with Vision this graph, and I ask it to this is the question I asked. What is in this image? I even didn't ask for summary or nothing. Just I wanted to describe what he's seeing in this image. So this image, it's about BTC, Bitcoin, and you can see here Yahoo Finance and so on, and you can see the prices, the price, the plot price, and the volume part. Okay,
hmm.
and here is it. Here is the answer. The image shows a financial chart from Yahoo Finance tracking the price of Bitcoin in USD. This is type of line and bar chart that is commonly used to represent the price movements of financial instruments. The
Wow.
blue line represents the price of Bitcoin over time, while the red and green bars likely represents the trading volume or another similar metric, and so on. So it gives even every details. For example, here it gives the price that is seen for the top left corner. It's reading this price with this percentage. It's reading also this price and so on. It gives every details that is seen in the image.
Okay. Wow. It's super interesting. Okay.
So, for example, if you are reading an article and you don't have time to read it, for example, you
Yeah.
can take screenshots and give it to
Okay.
GPT-4 and
Okay.
ask for summary.
Okay. Wow. Okay. It's super, super, super interesting. Okay. So now here, like essentially, like with few lines of code, we can get like let's say like let's say a condensate of the information that we have on the graph. Okay.
Exact, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
And let me perhaps show you also another notebook where I compare Gemini Pro with
Okay.
GPTs.
Okay.
Gemini Pro, you know, it's the model from
Google.
Google.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is also a multimodal LLM. You can give
Mm.
it text or image. And it's the Gemini Pro. I'm not talking about the new one with 1 million
Mm.
tokens. I'm talking about the
Okay.
old one. The old one. It was developed. It was put in place on December. Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
this one is the concurrent of GPT-3.5 Turbo. Okay,
Yeah, the competition.
so
Yeah,
this one
like
is very interesting because,
oh, okay. Yeah, like the competition.
yeah, exactly. So this is just one of them.
Okay.
Well, I did it like PDF, but
Okay.
you can get the notebook too. So in this one, I just compare. I'm using the APIs from Google and from OpenAI. You need at each time to have an API key to use them. Gemini Pro is free. You can
Okay.
use it without paying anything. But the
Okay.
OpenAI one, even the GPT-3.5 Turbo, you have to pay for tokens that you are using.
Okay.
So here, the question I asked the GPTs, for the LLMs about is to give me 5 trading algorithms.
Okay.
So here is the answer from Gemini Pro. It gives me the MACD, the AIC, the Bollinger Bands, the Ishimoku Cloud, and it gives me an ANN. Okay, it's not
Okay.
really an algorithmic trading, but it's a model that you can use for trading.
Okay.
I asked the same question to GPT-3.5 Turbo.
Okay.
And this one, yeah, this one. Okay. So it gives me almost the same answer. The moving average crossover, the Bollinger Bands, the RSI, the breakout strategy, and the pairs trading. The pairs trading is also trading that you can use. It's not technical indicators, but it's trading algorithm. It's like the almost the other ones. So you can use the LLMs to uh, to understand, to learn a lot of things. Okay, but you need just to be careful because sometimes the answers are not that good, so you need to check with other resources.
Okay. 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 And let's say if you can give us 2 points of comparison which differentiate Gemini to GPT.
To GPTs.
Yeah.
Gemini Pro and GPT 3.5 Turbo are almost the same thing. They are
Okay.
answering with the same way, giving almost the same details.
Okay.
But the GPT-4, for example, it's more, I found this more interesting LLM because, for example, if you ask it, I did this in the notebook too. If you
Mm.
ask it to give you the 5 trading algorithms, it will give you the broader answer, the most important trading algorithm, the typologies of trading algorithms. And then if you ask for each one for to give you some examples for each one, it will
Mm.
give you the bottom line indicators. So it's
Okay.
more interesting because it gives you the overview, the global vision of trading algorithms, and then it will take each one and give you some more specific examples. But for GPT-3.5 and Gemini Pro, it will give you directly the bottom line algorithms. It's not done with the same way. Okay, if you want to
Okay.
learn, use GPT-4. It will give you broader answers, and you can ask for to specify for each answer and give you more details, and it will give you more accurate details about this.
Okay. So, but like, let's say as an algorithmic trader perspective, or what would be like just like through pragmatic way, what would be for you the the best performer between these two players of the market?
If you are a beginner
Yeah.
in algorithmic trading and you want to learn about algorithmic trading, you can pick each of whatever,
Okay.
the Gemini Pro, GPT-3.5, whatever. And then you can ask for each, for example, if you ask a question and
Yeah.
it gives you, for example, here, it gives me 5 answers. I will
Yeah.
then ask it for each answer to give me more specific details.
Okay.
Okay, so the
Okay.
GPT 3.5, Gemini Pro, and GPT-4 are okay, are all
Hmm.
okay. If you ask for Python code, this
Hmm.
is more critical part. Um, I recommend to use GPT-4 because it's more accurate. But
Okay.
GPT-3.5, it also gives you some interesting information. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
And
Okay.
Gemini Pro too. But GPT-4 is more accurate
Okay.
in
Yeah.
giving more accurate answers in Python code.
And also, at least on the market, they look to have more experience than the competition. So
Yeah,
it
exactly.
makes sense.
And just one thing, it's
Yeah.
don't take each answer for the final answer. You need
Yeah. For
still to
granted.
check. Yeah, yeah, you need still to check. Even
Okay.
if
Yeah.
it gives you a Python code which can you can run,
Mm.
there is no error on the Python code. You need still to understand what is writing and if it's correct or not.
Okay. 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 Interesting. Okay. Like, yeah, like from what you are mentioning, um, it what I read whilst making my research is the fact that sometimes this type of algorithm can give you some answer which are completely no sense.
Yeah.
Is it correct?
Th- Yeah, this is
Potentially.
what we call hallucination. Hallucination.
Yeah,
That
like
means that the LLM it will give you an answer. And if you don't know about the topic that you are talking about,
yeah,
you will think that it's really correct, but it's not correct. It's giving
yeah.
very plausible answer, even if it's not correct.
Yeah, and we can be biased by the way, and let's say the semantic used to answer the question, which is why it's like it's very convincing because that's using like specific semantic to make it like very persuasive. Okay, I see what you mean.
Exact.
Interesting.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Like so, like if you have to make like a bemol or like if you want to give like a warning to the audience, is the fact that on some outliers GPT-4 or Gemini can bring some no sense answer. Okay, got the point.
All LLMs, it's the
Yeah,
case for all LLMs. This is
yeah.
a challenge in LLMs, which is called
Okay.
hallucination, that they can
Oh.
really give some plausible answers that are not correct. They have no foundation. So yeah, you need to be careful about this part.
Even the term hallucination, I love it.
Yeah.
I think it shows a lot. Like even like if you study how it has been built and also the fact that they replicate how the human brain is working to a certain extent, like like at the beginning, like everything started with this type of a theory from Yann LeCun before to go much further, replicating the human brain. And it's interesting
Mhm.
that they use the term hallucination, which is, let's say, in the world of mathematics, is not a word which is used by mathematician. Is a word
Exactly.
which is used by specialists of brain or by, let's say, doctors like let's say if you go to the hospital, that's the type of terms they are going to use, which is very interesting because that means like we start even humanizing the AI, because usually hallucination is like a term used for a human brain, not for like a scientific algorithm, which I find it very interesting in terms of let's say ethics and philosophical ways of seeing AI. I find it very interesting. Um,
Yeah, exactly. You're right. Yeah.
Yep. So, thank you very much for the use case. I don't know if you have like any other highlights you want to share, but like at
Uh,
least yeah, yeah, go ahead.
yeah, I think that for people that they are less sticky.
Yeah,
Perhaps I would just show you how to use the GPT builder from Chat GPT
definitely. Okay.
to just to know how to use this technique, because it's interesting to be aware of what is in the market and not to
Yeah.
take everything for for
Granted.
already known. For example, here the
Yeah.
GPT builders are new new not new tools, but they are tools that were announced on the dev day of OpenAI on November
Yeah.
2023, and they put GPT Store above these tools. It started at the beginning of the year, I think. So you can use every GPT that you want to use that are here. For example, there are GPTs from people like me. There are GPTs from OpenAI. There are a lot of kind of GPT. But let me
Okay.
explain to you what is GPT, because this is this is Chat GPT, but you
Okay.
can build on Chat GPT what we call GPT. Okay.
Okay.
So let me
Wow.
show you one of the one I put in place. It's more, for example, trading bot advisor on crypto money,
Yeah.
cryptocurrency.
Uh,
Sorry.
uh,
So for this part, I will show you the behind scene of the GPTs. If you tell me, it gives me
yes.
the hand. Okay. So here, if you want to put in place a GPT, you need to start from this page. This is
Okay.
technical page, but it's not that
Yeah.
technical. Just very simple.
Yeah.
You start to create your GPT. It will ask you what do you want to create. For example, you can tell him, I want you to be a trading GPT crypto advisor. It will tell you, okay, I will do it. So what kind of instruction you want to put in place, and you can start chatting with it. For example, you will be given Python code. You are an expert on algorithmic trading. You are an expert on cryptocurrency and so on. And you start building the GPT, with the LLM itself. Okay. And here there are all the instructions that I put in place in this GPT. I don't want it to give an advisor a recommendation, financial recommendation, or investment recommendation directly. I want it just to be here like advisor in the sense of how to learn, how to code, how to get information, and so on. Okay, so the technical part in this GPT is this one, is the schema that I put in place here to be able to collect data that are up to date. You need to put in place a connection to an API. So here I put a connection to this API, which is called Mean API Crypto Compare API. So you need to put the schema here and put in place your API key and so on. Okay, I will modify the API key afterwards.
Okay, that's very
Uh,
interesting. Just quick question. Let's say, for instance, I'm using like a API provider in order to get like alternative data regarding the market. For instance, like I don't want to be too specific to don't make people bored, but let's say I'm using this API provider in order to give me, for instance, for one of my clients, I built trading bots to analyze the electricity market. And one of the alternative data that I found interesting to use was the temperature in the country, and also was like the quantity of gas, the quantity of oil which have been traded, the volume which is like provided by Aramco, for instance. And my question is like, let's say, is it possible to use in your logic, for instance, like in the logic of ChatGPT, like a call to this specific API in order to get the market, the information regarding, for instance, like temperature, like the supply of this commodity or whatever. Is it possible to make like a call from ChatGPT to a specific API to get alternative data?
Exact. Yeah, you can do it with this part
Okay.
in the configuration tab from GPT. You
Okay.
can here put in place the schema that you need to put in place to call the API with
Mm.
different type of information and to specify the parameters that you want to put in place here.
Mm.
And then once it's okay, you can start chatting with the GPT.
Okay.
But you need these capabilities. For example, the web browsing. Here, you give the GPT the access to the web. You need to put in place, you need to tick this part. This part
Okay.
is about the image, you don't need it. But this part about the code interpreter, it's very interesting because it will create Python code, execute it, and give it back to you to
Okay.
put, for example, to plot prices. So just let's put in place an example. Here I will ask the GPT, give me or plot the BTC USD pair for the last month, and it will give it will ask for authorization. Even if I put just small error here, it will understand that I want to plot the file. So I will allow the GPT to go to the web to call the API. It will take a little bit time to call together information and plot it. Sometimes it will give you an error telling you that it didn't succeed because there is an issue, but you can try it again and again until it works. And after it will plot for you here a chart with the plot prices and give back to you the Python code that it used to plot this chart. So this is interesting for someone who wants to learn, or for someone who wants to put in place some strategies to chat with the GPT directly. For example, once I will get the price, I will ask it, for example, to calculate the MACD indicator. It will understand what is the MACD, it will gather the Python code for it, and it will calculate the MACD on the prices that I asked just before. And it will plot all this information in one plot to give it back to you, to give it the information. So this is very interesting to use in order to do some iteration with the GPT until you get your final strategy which is working. You can also ask the GPT to calculate buy and sell signals, for example. It will do it, and it will give you back again the Python code. So if you agree with the calculation, you can use it. If you don't agree with the calculation, you can tell it, for example, this line of the Python code, it's not correct. I think that you need to calculate it like this. Once you give this instruction to the LLM, it will take into account your instruction and calculate again the Python code with your instruction and give it back to you the results. So this is very interesting to do some iteration in order to put in place some strategies. If you are not techie guys, and if you want to, you are techie guys, but you want to go faster. Sorry, it takes a little bit time.
Yeah, I was talking, but my mic was closed. Just noticed that. Okay, it's very interesting. Yeah, because I asked you the question, I was okay. Just the microphone was closed. Okay, and now like potentially we can ask ChatGPT to give us like a buy and sell signal, which is very, very interesting.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So
and
just
yeah, go ahead.
I was just taking it, doing it again because it takes a lot of time here, just to see if everything is going well.
Yeah, also maybe sometimes we have like when you use Zoom, it reduces your data,
Yeah,
your like
yeah,
connection. I think it reduces it by like 60 or
it's
80%,
possible, yeah.
which is huge. Yeah, yeah.
I made I think some recording on one of my older posts on the subject,
Yeah.
in which you can see the different steps that you can
Yeah,
put in place with
actually,
GPT.
like you should show your article. I was going to make an introduction, but let's say maybe you can share with us your article that you write down like regarding this topic. I think if
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah,
wrong, you wrote an article regarding this specific topic on Medium. I think that's one of the first that I read.
yeah. Let's see the stories that I have put in place.
Oh,
For
36
this one,
articles.
it was
It's
yeah,
good.
it was this one. I have created my own custom GPT trading bot.
Okay.
So here I was showing how to put it in place, how to call, what kind of information that you can ask the GPT for. For
Mm.
example, statistical analysis, plots, give Python code. You can upload your file if you want, But the most interesting part is that you can put your own schema to get the last up-to-date prices. You can also ask for example, to implement the Dungeon channel, calculate buy and sell signals, and so on. You can also put your own trading strategies if you want. If you have Python file in which you have your strategies, you can put them in the chat here, in the upload file part, and you can start chatting with your file. But just be careful if you have some proprietary strategies that you don't want to share with the LLM, you don't have to put it here. You are not recommended to put it here because we don't know for now if they are using all your data to fine tune and to train their models.
Okay, interesting. Wow, okay.
And yeah, just the last one, it was I was putting in play, I was writing articles about different papers, research that are that people can read to understand, to just to be curious about the application of LLMs in finance. For example, the sentiment analysis. For example, the giving investment advisor. For example, there is an LLM which is called Invest LLM that it can give some advising. For example, hold, buy, or sell stock. If you give it the whole information about the last results or the last information about the stock.
Also, like, I strongly recommend to people to go on your blog because it's very interesting and well detailed. Like, it's super interesting. Even for me, like, I'm very impressed by mostly by how easy it is to use. I'm very surprised because in the old school, like, let's say in the old school methodologies, like, it's taking like hours, like training, like playing with your data sets. It's also like I have like a kind of related question to it. It's like, what is what type of data do we use to train LLMs for trading? For instance, like, how does like GPT is how does GPT is making its research? Do you know how it works, or do you have like a view
So
on how it works?
yeah, a global view. So the
Yeah.
LLMs, there are different levels of LLMs. For example, the
Okay.
first level, the pre-trained LLM, they are trained on a lot of data sets, different data sets about different topics, about different fields.
Yeah.
And the main goal of this LLM is to predict the next token. If you give it a sentence, it will predict for you the most probable token in the sentence, and so on.
Okay.
So if you use, for example, there are a lot of LLMs that you can use in Hugging Face or in other IPA hosters. They are not. They are just pre-trained LLMs. If you ask question, it will never answer because it will just give you the next probable tokens or other answers that are related or that are similar to your answer. It will never answer to your question because they were not trained on the chat question answering task. So there are a lot of tasks about the LLM. You can train your LLM on the task question answering task, for example. So you give it you give it a data set that is it's like a supervised learning. You give it a data set in which you have the questions and you have the answer. Your target is the answer, and the features that you are using is the question. You give all this data set to an LLM, it will be trained on this. You create your, when you put your LLM in place,
Yes.
there are different levels. and each level it's a base of the other one. For example, the pre-trained LLMs, they are trained on a lot of data sets uh, to uh, to give you the next token, the most probable token in your sentence. And then for each LLM, you can train it on different tasks. For example, question answering,
Okay.
summarization, extraction, named entity extraction, which is a really interesting task in NLP, and so on. And you
Okay.
can also train once you have your LLM. For example,
Hmm.
Llama 2 7B chat,
Hmm.
it's an LLM which is trained on question answering task, and it's
Okay.
based on Llama 2 7B. Okay, and once you have this, you can go further in the instruction fine tuning of your LLM. For example, for finance, there are a lot of departments in the finance. You have the financial report, for example, financial analysis. You have the trading. You have a lot of things. If you want to your LLMs to be trained on the financial task in the financial analysis part, you need to give it a data set which is trained specifically on this part. Okay, you need to put in place a data set, a big data set on which you have the financial report, you have the most important ratios that you want to use, and you have the extracted the summarization of this report. This is will be your data set that you will give to an LLM, and then you can fine tune it. There are question about there are big question about, do you want to fine tune your LLM or not, because the fine tuning is very expensive, or do you want to use the RAG tool? RAG tool, it's a retrieval augmented generation, which is another topic, but let's perhaps keep it like this. There are a lot of things to know about the LLMs, and you can fine tune them, or you can use the retrieval augmented generation tools to give more knowledge to the LLM about the finance part.
Okay. Okay. No, it's very, very interesting what you raised. It's very interesting. And also it was one of the of my question. It was like regarding the cost. And as you mentioned, you have different costs regarding LLMs. You have like different categories of cost to get uh, different levels of precision. Is it correct?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's more than if you want to pre-train an LLM from scratch,
Mhm.
really, you don't
Yeah.
have any LLM, you want to put it in place, it's very expensive. We are talking about millions. You need to use a lot of GPUs.
Hmm.
That's why NVIDIA it's flying. It was flying last
Yeah.
week because they are putting in place a lot of GPUs that are more powerful than the ones that they have in the past, specifically for LLM's task. Okay,
Hmm.
so you need big cost to pre-train from scratch an LLM. But if you
Yeah.
have an LLM which is already pre-trained, which most of people are doing, you take, for example, Llama 2 7B, and then you build on it, you fine tune this LLM for several tasks. This is also very costly, very expensive. It's also
Hmm.
about millions, okay?
Okay.
But there are a lot of methods that you can use now that will lower your costs, even in the fine-tuning part. And in the
Okay.
RAG, retrieval augmented generation part, it's less expensive than the fine-tuning part, but it's still expensive if you want to put in place in production, retrieving a lot of documents. It could be expensive. It depends on the use case that you are using.
Okay. Interesting. Okay, well, thank you very much. But I just for precision, as a newbie on LLMs, I don't know what is Llama. I know my friend James always talking to me about
Ah,
Llama
yes.
too, but it's okay at least for people who have like some
Llama 2 is
like
the LLM from Meta. It's
okay, okay,
the open source LLM from
okay,
Meta.
it's okay, it's okay. Like it's okay. I assume to be like a newbie. Um, Also like
That's good.
Actually, so it's very, very interesting use case that you share with us. And I still have like just like one, two question before to also like taking a little bit more time also like just for you also to share because I believe you have a lot to share to I know that let's say last time when I did like a survey out of like 900 people who answered the survey from my YouTube channel, it was like something like something like 20 girls answer this survey. So like the balance is like very imbalanced. Also, like I want you also to for you to share your view on this topic and mostly for Women's Day. I believe it's something which can be interesting. But I just have like one last question. At least like it's a question that we talked just before to jump on this call. We had like this we had this it was this question that I asked you. It was in what type of trading are LLM particularly effective? And what are some notable example of success and failure? Okay, let's remove the end of the question, but like let's keep in what type of trading are LLM particularly effective? You know, like I introduced you about the fact that let's say crypto market is seeing a lot of outliers, but you can play with a law of large numbers because you have so many trades in the crypto market that you can get if you have like a good strategy, you can get like this confidence to know that on the long term period you're gonna be good, and you can also handle black swan more efficiently if you know how to play with a lot of large numbers. By another side, let's say if you are going with portfolio management, the number of outliers is much more small. So what is for you, like, I know you had like an answer which was like something I didn't expect. That's why I believe it's interesting to ask you this question. As I mentioned just before, the crypto market, for instance, because it's open 365 days a year, like 24/7, you have the opportunity to do much more trades and you can play with a lot of large numbers. Like you can, let's say the fact to, but by another side, you have more outliers. Forex have other particularities, like if you buy stocks, same if you are trading on the stock market. If you are trading commodities, it's like different use case. What is for you the most suitable market to use LLM for trading?
I think that the LLMs right now they are not used for trading
Okay.
because they are you can find lots of inaccuracies in the LLMs like hallucination, like a lot of
Hmm.
issues. They are suitable for NLP tasks if you want to generate text, if you want to summarize, to understand, even if you want to plot, if you want to generate code. But if you want to execute with LLMs, it's not okay. You don't have you can't do it right now. Perhaps in the coming months, as the field is improving very, very fast, you can perhaps we can have some use cases like this. But at this moment, you don't use LLMs for trading. I didn't heard about LLMs already in production in the other banks used for trading. I
Okay.
don't think so. I think they are using LLMs. The most use case that I'm reading, you can use LLMs to analyze sentiment, to extract trends from news. You can use all this information that will help you at the final in your trading, but it will not have a direct consequence to your trading, to your daily execution. Okay, you can use it as features in your model, in machine learnings, in your mathematical model if you want, even if it's not machine learning, but you cannot trade with it.
Okay. Okay. Um, it was interesting when you shared when you say, okay, today in production. In production, you mean like used like as a case field by big institution. But let's say, just like to raise this point, like about like the fact that big institution very often they're like very late into the game. Like mostly they're like highly influenced by the concept of black swan from Nassim Taleb, the fact that you're always going to have like big outliers and they're going on like small profit on like a long period of time. And also, as I remember, when I was working in 2019, I was working in Brussels for like one of the major banks. And I was surprised that in 2019, like still like all their calculation and all the risk metrics were done with Excel, whilst like it generates a lot of human error. And I remember I was working on the transition to go from Excel like to Python for them, and they were like sending this note to the European Central Bank every month, like every month or every 3 months, like they had to make these scenarios of what is going to happen for the asset of the bank if there is like a crash of US dollar. And it's like page and page and page of like risk matrix that you can do very quick in Python and like in very safe way. Like it's quite easy. It's always every month. It's the same. It's exactly the same calculation. And still in 2019, people were still doing it on Excel, which I found that very funny. It was because the guy were like the head of the department. He was like 55 years old and he didn't want it to take any risk. So like he said, okay, no, we stay in Excel. I don't want to learn Python. Whilst like when we
Yeah,
start doing it in Python, we find out like mistake which have been made in the past, like because they were like doing it on Excel and like just like one guy like missed something in one cell, like and most of other metrics are like getting wrong. And but
yeah,
I found that like very funny how like big institution had this lag compared to the market, because if you go like in tech companies or most of the companies which are like calculating risk, they already like switched, which I found
yeah.
very interesting, like in terms of mindset with the big institutions, are like very, very slow to move. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, I think I agree with you, but and there are also other problems with the LLMs. It's about
mm,
the proprietary data.
ah,
Do
yeah,
you want to send
yeah,
your data
interesting.
to
Yeah.
OpenAI or to
Mm,
other big tech companies? This is a big issue, the proprietary data. That's why they don't want to put in place very fast this kind of LLMs. And also there is the issue that we talk about is about the hallucination.
yeah.
If you want to put in production something that you are not sure about it, you have perhaps you have 30% of errors or 20% of errors. You don't want to go to production with this type
Mm,
of errors, even if
yeah.
it can be similar to a human error, because in the as you just described, when
Mm,
using Excel, you have more you can have more issues if you put the wrong currency or the wrong
mm,
number than an LLM, for example. But people just does don't want to go
yeah.
with LLMs because there are 20% of errors. Even if in the team, in team of 5 or 7 person, you can have also 20% of error because people just they don't take make attention to what
Mm,
they are doing, and they can put errors in their calculation.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so it was very, very interesting topic today. Um, I just want to give you like um just before to close this discussion and go on the last word, can you share with us like the top three articles and like the different ways that people from the audience can contact you, like or like not essentially contact you, but like at least read your content. What are the channels that you are using to share your knowledge and your content? And because I believe like a lot of people are gonna be interested on this topic. Like I followed you on Medium and on LinkedIn. But what are the other channels that you are using? Maybe you can also present what you do and like what is for you, like let's say if someone want to start with LLM, what is the best article you can recommend from you, for instance, or like from someone else?
um you can find the posts in LinkedIn, Medium, and also on my personal blog.
Okay.
And if you want, I will give you the links if you want. If you want to start with an article
Mm.
about LLM, if you want
N-
to
n-
start with algorithmic
No,
trading,
no. Which
I wrote.
article should we read from you, like to start with that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the first one is
Yeah.
about algorithmic trading, how to use Chat GPT, for example, to learn
Okay.
algorithmic trading. This is just parts that explain the chat, how you use the chat to get the
Yeah.
answers from GPT. The second article, it's in Medium too. It's LLM in finance.
Okay.
LLM in finance, I explain the different use cases that you can use uh, in finance to apply the LLMs. And you can also look at the Gemini Pro and the GPT's LL, article, and then you can go and read if you have some time the papers research that I was sharing in Medium. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Okay. Cool. Okay. I think
And if you have some questions, you can contact me on LinkedIn.
okay, perfect. Okay, like thank you for sharing your channel, and that's very interesting. And that's why also today I wanted to share your work because I find it interesting, and very few people are using it into the industry, so it's very, very interesting. And to close this topic, I just want to give you like some last word. Like if you have something to share with the audience, like some recommendation, like let's say, I know you have like kids. Let's say if like the audience is your kid, are your kids, like what would be the like some point that you want to share with them?
Uh, the first thing I think it's interesting to do is to keep learning all the time. This is the first perhaps advice I can give to people, because this is what I did in the last years. I'm still doing it now
Mm.
with the LLMs, because it's on my personal time that I'm learning LLMs and applying them and playing with them too. This is the first advice. Keep learning. Just don't stop, because the world is going so fast. The LLMs are going so fast. Everything is going fast now. So just don't stop. Just be able to learn by yourself. And this is what I'm telling to my kids too.
Okay.
I open Chat GPT and show them that they can use it and they can chat with what you call an AI. It's not something weird. It's just models, mathematical models that are behind.
Yeah, and as we talked just before, like I was sharing with you, like I think the worst thing for a human is to lose like the light you have in your eyes, or to lose this fire you have, in your eyes when you wake up. Let's say when you are a kid, you wake up, you want to go to play football, or you go to, I don't know, you go to wherever you go to, to ski, or when you what no let's say when you wake up as a kid for Christmas, for instance, or like when as a kid you go to play guitar or whatever, is like this kind of like new learning you do like every day. And I believe the worst for the human, because we die very soon. Like, I don't know, like most of the human, like one third, like in the Western countries, one third of people are dying before 62. So in Western countries, so like most probably like what, 15, 20 years to live, 30 years to live. From my side, like I'm talking like in terms of like less than one standard deviation to the left from the average. So anyway, sorry to get so specific, but if we take a look at this way, like I believe the worst thing to do is just like to spend your last 10, 20 years to live, like just to, without like this kind of fire, and like, as you mentioned, like learning every day, like a new thing, to don't get stuck in your comfort zone for the rest of your life. It would be the worst thing to do. Wow. So
Exact.
thank you very much for this topic. Thank you very much for
Welcome.
sharing this use case, and yeah, like I'm going to give all the link to the audience if they want to follow you. And yeah, thank you very much. And yes, that's all.
Thank you for having me. Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you. Okay.